significantly to the resilience of the Israeli economy in the last few years. These are turbulent water outside. In the case of Israel, it's very clear that it is the startup nation, the high-tech nation, the innovation nation, call it whatever you want. But at the end of the day, half of our export is high-tech, and innovation is our competitive strength in the international water, and that's why Israeli product, Israeli innovation is highly desirable everywhere in the world. I think DLD again signifies that to a large extent. Our role within the Office of the Chief Scientist is to make sure that the ecosystem is working properly. And while our first rule is do no harm, it is for us to make sure that entrepreneurs like yourself will have the ability to transform ideas into industrial products and later on take them to the market and create successful ventures and companies to be grown. It's also our role to help facilitate collaboration between those young startups and multinational leaders. One other thing that always happens in the week of DLD is that my calendar usually gets filled up with meeting with executives from different countries with different agendas. They all come here looking for innovation, looking for ideas. They want to meet government. That's always desirable. Earlier this week, I hosted people from Ecuador, from China. Earlier today, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Marco Patuano, the Chief Operating Officer of Telecom Italia, which I think is also a speaker here. And I think one of the things he mentioned is really right on. And he spoke about the fact that in order to have a successful ecosystem, you need a successful system. I think this is exactly what we try to do at the Office of the Chief Scientist through a variety of different programs that support the whole life cycle of knowledge, sometimes starting in the academia, sometimes starting by a pre-seed grant to a young entrepreneur trying to build a prototype or just start out. We heard about the incubators, there's another life cycle and so on. And what we try to do through this variety of programs is really to help the companies grow successfully, to reduce the risk from the private sector and work together for the benefit of the economy. It's easier, by the way, to be the chief scientist of Israel than any other country, I would claim, because of the talent, because of the entrepreneurial spirit, but still this is not something to be taken for granted. The fact that in the last 4 decades the position has been in place and government support for high tech was never a political issue and was never in question is a big part of the secret. And how did we achieve where we are today? A leading country worldwide, when you map the countries according to their innovation parameters. We're not the biggest, we're not the strongest, we definitely don't have as much natural resources as other countries, but when you look at the science, when you look at the entrepreneurship, when all these indicators are taken into place, Israel really stands up there. And if we would have an Olympics with those sorts of criteria, then we would certainly be on the podium. We can argue which medal we would have won, but we would certainly be the winners of such a medal. What we need to do as government is make sure that the system is working and monitor it all the time. One of the nice things about government is that the question of business model is not asked. Earlier today, right now in the panel, Tzachi asked about the business model. I think the business model for the country is very clear. And one needs to understand, and I know it doesn't sound right, that even the failures have their own benefit. Because if a company fails, and a lot of them do, but from that failure emerge 4 other companies, and people are trained, and know-how is gained, and network is created, then the country as a whole benefited a lot, even if that entrepreneur or that venture capital didn't actually get the financial gains. That's why from the country perspective, I truly believe it's the best investment that we can make. Of course, it's our role to keep on making those investments as we move further to make sure the Israeli ecosystem continues to strive and continues to be one of the leading places in the world. Again, in this panel, we talked a lot about early stage. And I think this is one of the things we've been monitoring in the last few months. From looking at the ecosystem, it's a global phenomena. You showed, Tzachi, 200 accelerators or so in the US, but when we look on the macro picture, less money is going into early stage. And if you look into that money, less of it is going to the higher risk ventures. People are looking for those who are short-term, low risk, low capital, and that is great, of course. But from a country perspective, we want to see that we have enough babies born and raised, because there's a lot of discussions about large companies and small companies. Well, guess what? Every large company was once a small company. So we want to make sure we have enough small companies and later on give them the food and care for them to be able to grow into large companies. And that's why in the last few months we created a list of methods and programs designed to focus on the early stage. A major reform in the technological incubator that was discussed briefly here, really trying to attract the best and brightest to managing those incubators. Reforming the Angels Law, which, quite frankly, was and still is a great idea, but wasn't implemented in an optimal way. We're now working with the tax authority, and as soon as we have a parliament, which hopefully will be soon, we will bring that legislation and have an Angels Law, which is, again, very innovative when you compare it to other places. The sort of benefits that angel investors will get will only be parallel to those giving charitable donations. This is not something trivial and not something the tax authority does by itself, but again, it's something we strongly believe in as part of the ecosystem. We just launched another program designed to support those early stage companies, giving favorable terms to those companies, more money, more percentage, the ability to get money from us and then raise money from the private sector. Faster treatment, better SLA. Again, from our belief that this is the sector that currently needs more care. And this is because the private sector has moved to more conservative areas, and it's our role to make sure the entire ecosystem is working. So we continue doing what we can to help the industry. As you know, we're going towards an election. I think one of the advantages of Israel was that the support for high-tech was never a political issue. I am not a political person myself, and regardless of which government was in power, there was a clear understanding. And since this is the only business plan we have as a country, government should support constantly this industry, giving it the right environment, giving it the right conditions, reducing the risk, helping this industry achieve everything it can, and people like yourself to fulfill their dreams. So I invite you to keep looking at us, the Office of the Chief Scientist, as your partners in the government. That's our role. Our role is really to represent the industry, to represent the different parts of the innovation ecosystem, to try to see how we can help, facilitate, take out the blocks, and really continue to have these great achievements that I think this conference is a very good representation of it today. I will end with that. I wish you all a very fruitful event, lots of fun. I know it's always the case with DLD, so it's good to have you all today, and lots of good discussions, good products for the benefit of us all. Thank you.